Oh, my name's Fox, and I'm Fox, and I watched Mech Cadets.
This selection, a chance for you to prove your worth, and for the robos.
Actually, I'm not gonna watch all this, but
Pilots.
I thought you were over all this pilot stuff.
Being a
that's Ming Na Wen, aka Mulan,
mech pilot is what I've always wanted.
and Fennec in Star Wars, and shit, she's also the pretty much like their version of Black Widow in Agents of
The
Shield.
only thing I want.
Hell yeah. Okay, this music is tight. Maybe I will watch the trailer. Hold on.
They've already bonded.
They've what?
Can I just say?
We'll never fully understand how the robots
Okay.
choose that
I'm gonna review this, but
can't
hold
be
on.
broken. Stanford is part of your cadet class now. Get him up to speed.
Ooh, it hurts being this good.
I can't believe you got a robo and you didn't even have to go through trainee school?
A janitor's kid on a joke.
It feels like I'm constantly having to prove myself.
You're good at fixing things.
I love the design on
Find
these
a way to
robots.
make all this work.
Your dad would be proud of you. I'm proud of you.
A
Impossible
war is
odds.
coming, and I need all available robomechs active.
Unstoppable
I know we all wanted to
underdogs.
become-
Or is it? Does it say unstoppable or improbable?
I know we all wanted to. I know we
Unstoppable
all wanted
underdogs.
to become pilots for different reasons, but we're here now. The only ones that can stop that shard. And we can't.
Thank you, Hero from Bike Hero 6.
Let's do this. For all humanity.
Can I just say right now, I love giant robots, and I love kaijus. Also, I just love that these two both have the same color scheme. But I love giant robots. I love kaijus. Oh wait, I can. Oh my god, I can put them somewhere in view of the camera now. There we go. Anyways, I love giant robots. I love kaijus. I do love kaijus. Probably, I love giant robots, but I do really love kaijus. Kaijus are so badass. And also, I'm gonna just say this right now. I like this show a lot. I do. I really do. By God, do they need better naming for shit? Like just the title, Mech Cadets. It's just like, wow, that sounds so generic. I'm like, wow. I'm like, that's just wow. And then even like these guys, the giant robots that they learn to pilot. You know, you name something like, I don't know, Jaeger. Okay, that's kind of cool. Especially if obviously it's something that's in Japanese stuff, but like, okay, fine, Jaeger. Or hell, Optimus Prime, or in this case, Optimus Nemesis Prime Leo, or Transformers, I guess, too. It's something, I don't know, like, it sounds cooler. You just name it Robo. It's just like, really? That's what you're gonna name this alien race of, like, giant robots? Which also, I will say, too, this show's designs are really good. Like, one, like, here, Buddy. Like, some of the names are like... The names this feels like something like a... Like, what do you name the giant robot? Robo! What is the show called? Mech Cadets! It's like, really? Like, you could call them mechs or something like... maybe that's more generic, calling them robos. I don't know, just robo, just like... What are these advanced alien robots that came from outer space to save humanity called? Robos. Who named it? A 5-year-old? Like, I don't know. It's just that the name doesn't strike like, yeah, in it. Or, like, Mech Cadets either. It's such a good, like, this whole thing is, like, very military-like. It's like, yeah, Robo! It's like, really? Like, you know, Autobots. Decepticons. Robos. Hell. Mini-cons. Like, That strikes more fear into people than Robos. That being said, I love the Robos design, especially because there's like 3 different designs, and I don't think it shows all. Oh wait, no, they do, because there's 3 different factions, kind of, in this show, which I like that each faction, like their technology or whatever, is different from each other. There are the Robo Pilots, which technically is still the faction of humans and Earth. But the thing is, Robos are sentient living robots, pretty much. They're sentient living robots that choose their pilots. And they pretty much bond with you. And once you're bonded for life, pretty much. And so it's kind of like that whole thing where, yeah, I got my awesome Robo partner with me. And then you have the Crags, which I'm just wondering what the hell, how did they come up with his name? But anyways, the Crags, which are these giant crab-like aliens that they've been fighting. Like, there was a whole war about it. They disappeared. They had the Robos. Pretty much the whole setup of this thing is Earth gets attacked by the Scrags, which are these guys. Looks like they're about to die, when suddenly out of the sky, like angels, came Robos that just fell down to Earth and pretty much, I guess, picked pilots, and they fought back to the Horde and killed them all off of Earth, and they then built a shield around it. So Robos are helping humanity, but Robos, in a sense, are technically an alien technology faction from there, and and then you have just the straight human faction, because humanity likes to screw with shit. Which are the Hero Force, which are these robots, which are more mechanized kind of robots, which are more the human-based robots, which, on one hand, I actually really like, because, whether you like it or not, the CG Godzilla series, the movies, the 3, Kerber for voiced the main character in one of them in there, so that was kind of cool. But I'm trying to think. But one of the things I actually really liked about it were the designs for their mechs when they get to Mecha Godzilla City, and they pretty much make these suits. And I like the idea that each faction of race, whether it be humans, the space elves, the space dwarves, and the new humans all had their own kaijus, and the space dwarves kaiju was Mecha Godzilla, so there was the robots and shit was the kind of their thing. I kind of like that too, and in this it follows kind of that idea of those types of robots where the robos are powered by an inner crystal that creates anti-gravity and stuff that I see here, but then these guys are powered by thrusters. The robos are more circular in nature, or more round in nature, versus the Hero Force guys, which are more angular and more sharper looking. And they really don't show them much in this, do they? And then also, not to mention, I love the designs of these guys. I love the designs of these guys with their mitten hands and shit. It's really cool. And then you also have the Crags, which are their own thing, which I kind of because the whole big thing is a mothership is coming to Earth at one point, and they got to stop it when it won't. And I'm just how the hell why do you think? Hold on. These things, these completely non-technological things, have some kind of spaceship. I knew immediately oh no, that's spoilers I guess for the show. Oh no, that's a giant crag. That thing's gonna kill you, or shrag. I can't remember what the hell it was called. I'm that's gonna be a giant thing, and it is. But the thing is the designs on them, even though it's not it's not my favorite kind of kaiju design. That's the thing too, kaijus, dragons, and kaijus and dragons. Stuff like that. When you make them generic ones, it kind of ruins the race, I think, a little bit. Or it ruins it a little bit. Come on. that is like one of my issues with like Pacific Rim, which also like I feel like this show or Mech Cadets kind of took some inspiration from Pacific Rim for obvious reasons. Mech pilot shootings, kind of you have to be specific to bond with it, whatever. It could have been matched with other things too, obviously. But yeah, but even like with the whole thing with Krags, these kaiju things, but instead of glowing blue, they glow red. I know it's based off of graphic novels. I'm not sure when the graphic novel came out, but like the Krags are like, okay, those are kind of cool, like very crab-like, and like I didn't hate them, and honestly, I liked them more the more I probably watched the show because their design, because like it was like okay, like their designs are very like rough and like very bio, like very organic, obviously, versus these guys, which are more circular and more kind of alien-esque, even kind of like Spider-Man eyes for emoting and stuff, which is really cool. And versus the Hero Force, which are a lot again, like angular and shit. I like that. I like that a lot. I also I will say this one, like, because spoilers for this. Go watch it. I enjoyed it. Go watch it. I liked it a lot. This guy, Park, which I don't know if technically I should classify him as a bad... I think I would classify him as an antagonist, at least. I classify him as a bad guy, too. He pretty much goes to, anything to save humanity. Anything to save humanity. And then it really took me the longest time to think, right, anything to save humanity except humanity, not the sentient robots. Because him and Viren from Dragon Prince, I 100% see them both getting along. Because they're both dudes who are like, I did it to protect my family. I did it to protect the earth and shit. And it's like, dude, you killed so many people. Like, it's not even funny how many people you've killed or terrible shit that you've done in the name of protecting thing. I'm like, I think you're just a goddamn monster. Because a whole big thing is, because spoilers again, a big thing with Buddy, which is what they named this guy here. The whole big thing is Hero here. He's obviously a janitor's kid, he said, whatever. And he bonds with Buddy after showing like being selfless and all that stuff. And at one point they kick him out, and they're and they straight bring up like, the Buddy bonded with you, so like he won't go with anyone else. So they try to put a thing that tries to erase Buddy's memories, and I'm like, that's kind of dark and messed up, especially because we know these guys are sentient living beings. But I'm like, what? Luckily, they eventually get out. Buddy eventually gets out and gets his actual buddy, his friend, a Hero. And I'm like, okay. And then eventually they're on spoilers again. Hero Force, the new mech robots that are more of the mass-produced units and shit that are human-made, not alien-made, which we don't know where these robots come. They just come by resolve. They're like, well, I guess we get new pilots. I'm like, really? No one ever thought to kind of ask these things? I don't know. They're sentient. Shouldn't they know? I don't know. But they make these new robots, and then they use pretty much the heart of these mechs to power the Hero Force units. But then also the Hero Force units are also, again, that feels such this feels like nothing against the creator of this, but this 100% feels like a kid playing with toys, which isn't a bad thing, but it's what do you call this one's the Robo, this one is Krag, and this is the Hero Force. It's really? I'm like, alright, these names, by God. What's the show called? Mech Cadets. I don't know, it just, the naming conventions are kind of generic, and then the show is actually really good. Mind you, there's probably a bunch of other mech shows like this. There are. I've seen some that are similar to this, but honestly, the design is good. The animation is pretty damn fun, honestly. but I will say too, I kind of like, and like again, the bad guy thing where like the bad guy's like, not bad guy, well, the commander's like, oh yeah, well, you know, screw these robots, we need to protect humanity and shit like that. Which on one hand, okay, cool, we have these mechs that we can mass produce, but also on the other hand, you're killing these sentient robots that literally come down only to help and protect you. I'm like, and they're sentient living beings also, because like at one point when they find out that the core, like you know, I probably tell you like, oh yeah, they took the heart out of the thing. It's like, oh, the robot must have been dead, right? No, as long as that heart thing apparently has power, these robots are alive. So they took a robot that was pretty much badly wounded. So just imagine a person badly wounded, and they're like, but they're badly wounded, but they're still like, they can still get healed. They still have to be like, oh no, I broke my leg. It's like, oh, you broke your leg? Oh, we're gonna rip your heart out and put it in this other person. What? But I just came in because my leg is broken. Yeah, no, sorry, bud. Like, that's pretty much what they did to some of these robos. And it's like, God, why robo? Like, oh, it's such... Anyway, yeah. I don't know, maybe we'll get a better name later on. But, yeah, it's kind of... It's still a great show, and I literally love this, and I want a figure of this guy. But, yeah, and then also, like, I am also going to hope... And again, like the whole thing, like similar thing with Virulence here, where they're like, they try to, like, this guy did some horrible shit, but also they kind of try to brush it under the rug a little bit. And I was just like, no, he's still an asshole. Like, you should still treat him like an asshole. That being said, too, similar to Dragon Prince, because apparently when these robots land, they straight say, like, these robots have no battle capabilities built into them, so they give them, like, weapons and stuff like that, which actually was one character who has a robot leg. At one point he loses that robot leg. He has to use his crutches again, and he actually prefers to use crutches, which on one hand, cool, because then they just have a robot leg only works when he's in his like mech suit. His weapons are actually crutches. They use them as crutches at one point. I'm like, that's really cool. I like that Buddy here has like a robot like fist thing, but also like they said like these robots have no battle capabilities, but then Buddy actually, spoilers again, has a superpower where he can actually manipulate gravity, which I think all of them technically can with their engines, but Buddy can manipulate gravity, which I'm gonna go ahead and really, 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 really hope that this is something that only Buddy can do, and it's because Buddy is maybe a newer model of Robo than the others. And I say that because I kind of got into a little bit of an argument with someone like with Dragon Prince and the Owl House because they want to say Dragon Prince is better, and I'm one of my biggest gripes on that little note, especially because they said like, oh, the world building in Dragon Prince is amazing, and I'm like, you do realize the whole big conflict with humans, and I'm gonna get to this whole big conflict with humans and drags, all that shit, is because humans used dark magic because they thought they couldn't use it. But it turns out if humans actually just believed hard enough, they actually could just use regular magic like everyone else. I'm like, that's really dumb. Where at least in the Owl House, it's like, no, humans can't use magic, so it's biologically impossible. But you can use glyphs, which channel magic from the air, to then use magic, or you can use, a palisman. So I'm like, and again, for me, that kind of like, and I mean, me saying that too, I'm just like, wow, that is really stupid in Dragon Prince. The humans need to believe hard enough. I'm really hoping that's not the case for this, or at least in the very least, Buddy, was it Red Rocket? I can't remember. What was it? I can't remember what the other, Thunder Crasher, I think? I can't remember. Big Red, and I didn't write down the other one's name, sadly. That maybe they also are newer models, so they also have the power. But it'd be really, really, really stupid if it's like, oh yes, no, for, I don't know, 20 something years or something, probably 30, 40 years or something, we've had these robots and no one ever thought to try to see if they had any superpowers and shit. I'm just like, that'd be really, or like they just weren't believing hard enough. And I'm like, God, that'd be so stupid. At least in My Hero, the reason why does Deku has only have access to all his powers? Well, it's because of the singularity shit, and that's why now it's now at the point where he has these powers. What a coincidence, but whatever. Like, that's what, like, I'm kind of really hoping it's not like people just didn't believe hard enough. I hope it's that Buddy is a newer model, therefore has these powers. That being said, a lot of it's really good. Again, it's kind of funny how many times Hero, which that's not his name, but he looks like Hero, gets kicked out of this program and then put back into it. It's funny seeing one girl who is like, I should get a robo. I should get a robo. And then she doesn't get a robo. This guy gets his blue robot. And it was like, he's not even, like, how? And then the dad's like, no. Here's my robot that I've been building. And then, like, it's not so much, I'm making that sound a lot stupider than it is. Like, no, it actually is pretty cool, like, seeing, like, yeah, okay, this guy has way more of an idea of, oh shit, like, humanity's already kind of trying to back away from using robos and shit. And, like, there's some darker shit going on and stuff. Like, I get that. Still, but yeah, like, in any case.
Good at fixing things.
I love those big Spider-Man eyes. I love those. And then even, like, certain, like, things like the Mech, like, their leader, who was, like, the first robo pilot, and also, like, he has a cartoon for him, made from him and stuff. Like, he has this sword, which is really cool because, I think in Starblade I brought it up. I know, I must have. Yeah, because it was in the first chapter, I believe. Where Starblade, where the main character in that which it's on YouTube. The first chapter. Well, not first chapter, it's like maybe like half of the first chapter. It's on YouTube, like I did like a reading of it. It's probably shit, but whatever. Where his blade would break apart into dust, like this black dust that he can form into things and like protect like a tornado and shit. He has a similar thing to that where he has a sword, which it's a handle blade he pulls out and then it forms into a blade or it forms into a whip and shit. I'm like, that's kind of cool. Also, they even do the whole thing where, it's a giant mech trope, but it's a giant mech trope that I like, where the robot loses its arm, so then they replace it with a newer arm that can do upgrades and shit. Like, I think the first anime I ever watched that had that was Code Geass with, is it Collins? Collins' arm where it's the claw that creates, like, the shield energy blast shit. And then they even did it in Pacific Rim, Blackout, and they've done in this too. I love that shit. I love the idea of always upgrading the robots and stuff. But
Humanity.
Oh, you gotta see it, yeah. But yeah, like, this show was pretty fun, honestly. The show was fun. Naming conventions aside, it's a fun ride. Like, I enjoyed it. And then, like, they're setting up for a season 2, which there is a lot more they can do with this. Also, like, it's funny because they also use, design-wise, like, when you see them, like, in this dot thing, that's how you see them when the pilots are controlling it, usually, until, like, we see the outside of the ship, outside of the robots. And I'm like, that's actually kind of smart to do it like this, like have it where they're flying around, because a lot of times when they're talking, they're in this dot room thing. And it's smart in a way because you don't have to worry about backgrounds that much, which is a bigger thing for CGI shows. So they save on that, and then because they reuse the same desert area a few times, or at least desert biome, because the desert surrounding, or space. Because, you know, first season, you got to keep, for a CG show, you got to keep the cast small, which they are able to do pretty much. Which they are able to do, because we don't see any other mechs outside of this, and, you know, the Hero Force, which is just mass produced. And you need to have the areas where you can reuse it, and it's not very noticeable. Unless you're Sonic Boom, and then you start making fun of it at one point. Okay, that's fine. But yeah, because Sonic Boom Show, that was one of the major issues I had with it originally. Whereas, like, they use the same areas multiple times, and they use, like, this robotic has, like, the same robots multiple times, when, like, I come off of Sonic X, which has multiple backgrounds, as well as multiple different robots they use. But beside the point, this show is pretty good. I'm not going to lie about that. It's really fun. Like, again, other than certain bits, I'm just like, other than like certain bits of like, you know, they kind of just let this guy off a little bit on the warning. They had 2D back flashbacks was pretty okay. I honestly, because again, like the Samurai Rabbit show, I'm like, I feel like this would work better. It's 2D. This, honestly, as CG, it's honestly really good. And there's like the 20 per second thing too. I noticed too. And it does have the idea of like, is this guy doing the right thing? Is this guy not? And then like, you know, I don't know. It's really fun. It's on legit. I love the designs. I love like the smoother humanoid designs, and then like the hero force being these big pointier ones, and then the Krags being, you know, organic, obvious, an organic attacking race stuff. It's pretty fun. But yeah, terms and comments below. This is just a quick little review, I guess. I don't even know if it is quick. I liked it a lot. It's like, if you like it, I don't know if I would say like, oh, this breaks any grounds of like oh yeah, like this breaks ground like new shit. Like, no, not really. I feel like I've seen this similar setup many times where it's, oh, giant robots with like, you know, 18 like 16-year-olds piloting the ships, and I'm like, yeah, okay, fine. I've seen this multiple times. And it's like Academy things, but I do feel like this one at least is way more focused, and at least gives everyone kind of more screen time, whether it be the Chinese main character Hiro, whether it be the Puerto Rican girl who pilots Big Red, the white boy who pilot. I'm sure he's probably like German specifically, or Swedish probably with the blue eyes. Swedish. I'm assuming. You know, not paraplegic. You know what I mean. Handicapped guy, or the main girl who I believe she's probably Japanese. I'd assume. If we're going like everyone has their own race, so that, or then the this guy's Mexican friend, like childhood friend and stuff like that. It's really good. And even like it's the whole idea too of like, and when she, spoilers at the end, she decides not to go back after she's working there for so long, because she's like, I would have to, like, I can't agree with people who are going to sacrifice the robos and be like okay with that. And I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. And it's going to, I feel like this could lead into a way bigger shit later on down the line. But right now it's a pretty okay first season. Pretty fun. Tell me something else below. Thanks for watching share videos. Hopefully you enjoy this. And yeah, it's just great. And we'll see you later. I gotta get, like, apparently on eBay they sell it. Like, I don't know if the guy makes it custom or not, but like the Star Blade for from like Prime or whatever. And I hope it kind of fits with my Nemesis here, because I think I want him to have like a sword. That way he has like sword in one hand and then his gun on the other. Like, I've been getting way more into giant robots and stuff. I'm not saying it's gonna take over my love for kaijus, but I love giant robots, and this is honestly probably one of my favorite Transformers right now.